Hello. Like a Thanksgiving turkey in the distant past, stuff has happened. So what's up? Your hair is safe because we no longer need to pluck it to check out your DNA. Yeah, it turns out that scientists have figured out a way to just kind of pull DNA out of thin air, or like any object or thing that you've been near. They noticed with like sea turtles, right? They were like, ooh, this sand has some good sea turtle DNA on it. And then they looked at it and they're like, oh wow, this DNA is actually like way better in condition than we thought it was going to be. And it's so good that they can like detect anomalies and shit. This is cool and terrifying. Now, potential good sides of this is like, you know, missing person stuff, or I guess crime scene investigation. The bad is everything else. This is a casual reminder to not willingly submit your DNA to companies. Like, it's honestly baffling to me that anyone uses like 23andMe or whatever. Like, we're over here being tinfoily about phones, but like, hey, here's my DNA. Just packaging up my DNA and sending it over to a company. Don't worry, they've got a privacy policy. What could possibly go wrong if everyone in the world sends a company their DNA? But now they can just come swab your air, apparently. So we lost. Content warning. I am about to make you think about Rudy Giuliani's penis. A former employee of Rudy Giuliani has slapped him with a massive lawsuit alleging that he essentially kept her on payroll and demanded sex from her at any time of the day. This is among many allegations, and I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details because it's really gross. One of the not as gross, but still gross in its own way allegations was that Rudy and Trump were also conspiring to sell pardons for $2 million each. But it was equitable, don't worry, they were gonna split the cash 50-50. Now, the allegations in the lawsuit are very graphic, and there's also text messages in the lawsuit that I wish I could unread. So while I have links to the complaint in its entirety in the newsletter version of this show, I highly recommend that you really think about it before clicking on that link. There are some things in this life that you just cannot undo. Speaking of lawsuits, a third Apple employee has been indicted for stealing self-driving car technology for another company. There have been rumors for a while now that Apple's been working on like a self-driving car or self-driving something, and that's been backed up by the fact that several employees have tried to steal that technology. This most recent one is an employee who was at Apple in like 2016 and got a job from a Chinese company and then waited 4 months before telling Apple while stealing data from Apple servers. More specifically, like stealing code, presumably, like stealing IP and whatnot. Anyway, he eventually left Apple and has since moved to China, and then Apple was like, oh wow, he accessed a lot of stuff before he left. The FBI has now hit him with an indictment, but it doesn't really matter because he's in China, so unless he can be extradited, nothing's gonna happen. It is at this moment that I'm going to have an unrelated opinion. I'm really over self-driving cars. We've been hearing about the progress for like a full-on decade, and we've been promised that it's gonna happen, and it seems to just hit pedestrians instead. But also, and far more importantly, what if instead of investing billions of dollars into self-driving cars, we invested billions of dollars into halfway capable public infrastructure? The value of a self-driving car goes down significantly if I could just take the goddamn train. Hey, remember COVID? You know, like that thing? If you're a really cool boy like me and you never got COVID, you can now experience what it's like to have long COVID in one of 3 major video games. A European NGO called Long COVID Europe is partnering with multiple mod-making teams to make a mod that simulates having long COVID in Elden Ring, The Witcher 3, or Minecraft. Quite literally, they just coded in the effects of long COVID into the game, so you'll experience like shortness of breath and loss of focus. Rise ye tarnished with a respiratory illness. It's supposed to be part of a campaign to raise awareness, and like, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna raise awareness. It might just generate more memes than it does sympathy, but at least it gets it back into people's heads. Long COVID is a big deal, and I'm not trying to minimize that, but the idea of playing The Witcher 3, but Geralt has COVID is legitimately hilarious. I may need to explore these mods on my stream. Lightning round. A bassist was on stage performing with his band when he was struck by a stray bullet that fell out of the sky. It lodged into his head, but he's alive and okay, and will recover. Here's the weather in 3, 2, 1. Google has announced that they will be deleting inactive accounts after 2 years. Gaming company Blizzard is forcing their employees to come back to the office, and that's causing them to hemorrhage employees, especially really valuable ones. Who would have thunk it? The average age of cars on the road has increased significantly to 13 years old. It's almost as if we can't afford shit. Following Utah's leadership, the governor of Virginia has signed a bill into law that requires porn sites to do actual validation of visitors' ages using centralized databases. What you watching there? The election in Turkey is heading to a runoff, but it's looking like Erdogan is the favorite to win. Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos infamy is avoiding jail for just a little bit longer by filing another appeal to the court. And finally for today, Amazon is making their second attempt at making a Lord of the Rings MMORPG. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. It's Wednesday, so as a reminder, I'll be live tonight on my Twitch at twitch.tv/I'm_Endeavorance. I'll see you there. My name is Endeavorance. I'll be back on Friday. Take care and be well.